Hey everybody, welcome back to some more early morning barking, talking about BPD and MPD by somebody that has both. Don't forget to hit the like and subscribe buttons and do all the socially things scrolling past you on the screen right now. Check out Patreon and the members button below for extra videos and stuff. Okay, I want to talk about narcissistic oversharing. I've done it. I'm guilty of it at points in my past. Let's talk about it. Narcissistic oversharing. This comes in two forms. We'll deal with them separately. We have active and passive oversharing. And this is very different from BPD oversharing. BPD oversharing can be more about trying to get somebody to like you, trying to share your problems, trying to talk about stuff, whatever. This is very different. Narcissistic oversharing often is a form of bragging, one way or another, whether it's active or passive. It's a way of communicating something about you to other people, and it's something that is otherwise difficult to bring up. So an active form of doing it is rather obvious. This is where you get somebody who's just banging on and on about stuff that you don't want to know about one way or another. Stuff that's not your business. Stuff that, why are they sharing this? Why are they telling me? Because they want me to know. Right? They want me to know how awesome they are, how much better than me they are, how much they're doing this thing, and aren't they great because they're doing that thing, or whatever that thing is, or they have this thing, or just whatever, something somebody can brag about. And it comes out, and it's fairly obnoxious, and it comes out to sort of, it serves a number of purposes. It can, first of all, it can put other people down. You don't have one of those? I have one of those. I don't know how people can possibly live without one of those. And we can put people down. And when we put people down, that simultaneously elevates us above them, right? If we can brag about something, then great. We've got something to brag about, right? And we can use it to hurt people, to make them feel discarded, rejected, to make them feel all kinds of things. It's oversharing can be such a manipulative thing. Something that we're doing on purpose. We know we're doing it. We're doing it to tell you this thing, and whatever we're getting out of that, we just want your reaction, right? We just want to see what you do, one way or another, and preferably we'd like you to feel bad, because then we feel good. And it's very easy to spot the active stuff. It's just some sort of gobshite mouthing off, right? That's easy to spot. That's really straightforward to do, and it's fairly easy to shut down. It's fairly straightforward to say, shut up, or I don't want to know that, or to just make a joke about it and bring someone cascading down to earth. That's a great way of shutting a narcissist down, by the way. Make fun of the thing they're bragging about. Oh, just such insolence, right? That's a good way to bring us down, but it's mean, and it might lead you into a confrontation, right? Depends on your narcissist. If you bring someone down who is vocally bragging, then there's no guarantee on how somebody's going to react to that, right? And that could potentially be quite vicious. However, if you absolutely 100% totally positively needed to bring the narcissist down a peg or two, then making a joke about something they're bragging about that's right in there. So active oversharing, telling you stuff you don't want to know, telling you stuff that's none of your business. Passive oversharing is much more insidious. It's a bit creepier, but it's a bit less confrontational, but it's a lot more manipulative. Passive oversharing. The stuff that is just sort of left there for you. Facebook posts are good for this, right? But it can come in many forms. It's creating a situation in which a person has their attention drawn to something. And a person can go about that in many ways, changing their appearance, an article of clothing, doing something in their home. You know, I suddenly keep my new guitar in the living room so people come over and I can go, oh, and is that your new guitar? Like, yeah, I normally keep it upstairs where no one will ask about it. I'll see it, but now I leave it here in the living room. This kind of thing. And the problem with this stuff, from the point of view of the person going through it, is it's much harder to show that it's happening. It's more easily denied, right? You don't have to look at my Facebook page. I'm just posting what I want to post on my Facebook page. The fact that you feel bad about that is your issue. I'm not doing that. Oh, I'm sorry. Did I leave this here? All these things. Oops, silly me. All of that. It's so like, I'm not doing this thing. And so you can't sort of argue it because it's so easy. I didn't mean to do that. Sorry, silly me. All of that sort of thing. Passive oversharing. It's just a little bit more manipulative, just that little bit more, oh, I don't know, almost cowardly, making sure people see things, experience things, are in an environment that you've put them in to experience something you want them to see, experience, hear, whatever. And your defense against this, as somebody going through it, is not to point it out, because that's not gonna work, right? What you're talking about then is putting in a boundary, and those aren't gonna be, they're gonna be ignored, that sort of thing. You just have to sort of remove yourself from a situation as much as you can, but then keep yourself protected by putting in your own boundaries. Not, I expect you to do X, more along the lines of, if you do X, I will do Y. Right? If you're going to continually create a situation that's unpleasant for me, I'm not going to willingly put myself in that environment anymore. I'm going to withdraw, and that's going to mean what that means. I don't expect you to change, because you can't, right? Because there's that bragging going on. They want to show you this thing. They want you to feel this, to be overshared too. And what you also have to remember in both instances, in both active and passive oversharing, as is the case with much of NPD and narcissistic traits, is that what the narcissist in that situation is really doing is pointing out something that they themselves are massively insecure about. That's why they're bragging. That's why they're showing this thing off, to let you know, this element of my life, this thing, this is amazing. This thing's better than you can imagine. This thing's going so great. It's brilliant. It's this insecurity that you're actually seeing. And so the bragging, the oversharing, the making sure you know things, the active or passive way, is a way of putting up this wall. We're putting it up. We're getting it ready. That's a preemptive defense. It's a moat, right? It's a moat of, well, you know what I'm like. And it can, it's going to apply to all aspects of life. So many things that whatever an individual feels insecure about and feels the need to project to the world that thing is better than normal. And so when we see this, when we do it, we're expressing our insecurity, if you know what to look for, right? We're expressing that, we're sharing that, and we're putting up our wall to make sure that you know what our defenses are. right? It's a show of strength. It's a show of muscle. It's the military parade with the missiles through the capital city square. Look at this. Aren't I powerful? You better not attack me, because power. And that means this thing has become a focus. I'm worried about this thing. I'm worried that people will see me as inadequate without this thing, that people will feel bigger than me, or that I'm looked down on because of this thing. So I need to make it as big as possible. And the truth is, no one cares, right? The truth is, no one wants to know. People got their own stuff to deal with. No one wants to be involved with your stuff. And when we think of people looking down on us, that's our projection, right? That's how we look down on people. We expect people to be looking down on us. So we're projecting it. The truth is, no one cares. And that's why we have to overshare it. If we didn't have to overshare it, it would just be normal conversation. And that's not oversharing. That's just normal stuff. I'm talking about the stuff that you have to elbow in there one way or another. Some achievement, something you've done, something you do, something you are. All of these things that makes you special, that elevates you. You've got to crowbar it in there, because it's oversharing. It's not sharing. And we do it for all those reasons, like I say. Because we're insecure. We're putting up our defenses, and we're preemptively saying to people, don't come at us on this, because stuff, right? So as the people with narcissistic traits, we have to be aware of doing that. We have to be aware that we have an insecurity, and that what other people think of that doesn't matter. It's all down to us. It kind of ties almost into the BPD sense of self. We need to be pleased with who and what we are and what we do for us, not for the point of making other people feel bad or belittling others or elevating ourselves. That's not healthy. We should do things for us. And we know when we're bragging about stuff, right? When people are genuinely interested. But this is the thing about us. We want people to be interested in us, right? We want them to know how amazing we are and all the things we do and how cool we are, right? We want them to know we've got NPD or narcissistic traits. It's easy to do that. And a good overshare is a good way of doing that. But it's unpleasant antisocial behavior. It's not nice. It doesn't make people like us. It's less needy than the BPD overshare, but it's no more pleasant. It's no more nice to be around. Oversharing is generally bad. That's why it's got its own name, right? It's a thing. And regardless of our motivation or intentions or source of need to do it, it doesn't matter. It's the same thing for other people. So we have to try not to do it. We have to try to just see what the other people do. I get a lot of mileage out of that, by the way. What do other people do? What do I see other people do? Is this something lots of people talk about or show off, or is it something that they keep to themselves? I don't know. Maybe I should keep this to myself. It's one of those things. Seeing what other people do is a good thing. And also, just don't feed it. Don't feed the narcissist. Don't give into it. Don't give them an emotion. Just have your plan of action if it's someone you have to deal with. So I hope that helps. I hope that's interesting and informative, because that's generally what I aim to be. Check out my videos that are on Patreon and stuff like that. I've just done the first of a course of restarting self-care. And it's kind of done from a BPD point of view, but NPD stuff applies. It's for when you're ever feeling low. This is the steps you should take under my recommendation. It's a good little video. So go and check that out. I'll see you later. Bye-bye.